guys, what's going on? So this is a video about why I don't want to do tier lists anymore and why it really doesn't matter if I do tier lists anymore, and why it just hasn't really been a thing. And right now, if it sounds like I'm stalling, it's because I want to prove to you that I can jump in and out of screens pretty easily, but sometimes when I go back to the Rush Royale screen, in most videos, whenever I do this and I jump in and out of like tabs, it doesn't matter how long I stay in a tab, like when I'm not, doing a video, right? I can stay in this tab for quite some time. I can watch a video and then go back into Rush Royale and it'll still be open and it won't reset itself. But every single time when I'm doing a video, whenever I'm kind of away from it for like 2 seconds, I'll go back into Rush Royale and then I'll have to wait for I'll have to wait for this to reset and reload. When most of the time I have the ability to just go in and out of tabs and it doesn't matter. And this is why it always makes me so mad whenever I'm doing a video and I waste a bunch of time. I see the irony in me wasting a bunch of time right now to show you that this does happen. But this is for everybody that has followed me for a really long time. Whenever I get really mad that it has to reload, this is why. Because I could literally, I do this all the time. I jump in and out of tabs and it doesn't matter. It's just when I'm doing a really long video and I jump in and out of tabs and I could be out of this for like 2 seconds and show you something over here and then jump back in and it'll reload. And then I'll wait for this to reload and then I'll be like, oh, and I'm going to show you my YouTube and and then I'll go back in and then this will reload again. And it makes me so fucking mad because I know that it doesn't happen. It only happens in videos. And yeah, so there's my rant on that. So thank you for letting me rant on that. But anyway, this is a video, specifically tailored to the idea that I don't really want to make tier list videos anymore. And there's no reason to. So I got that comment, during I just did a video for a Tesla guide. And in this video, two of the comments were talking about heroes. Any thoughts about the Mari rework? I don't know where that came from. Talking about heroes. I wasn't talking about any hero in this video other than Tesla. Tesla's a unit. But I like the idea that they're trying to segue into their question. For future reference, Usario and Anemo. If you want to do this, just say talking about Rush Royale. Since you talked in this video about Rush Royale and then answer your question, that would make more sense than talking about heroes. That doesn't make any sense because I didn't talk about any heroes in this video, unless you're saying because I mentioned Mermaid, and I said, hey, use Mermaid in this deck, and he's like, oh, talking about Mermaid, talking about heroes like Mermaid. What do you think about the Mari rework? But the other comment that I got on this video was, hey, very nice video. I love your guides. Do another tier list, right? See, that's a better segue. It's still a random comment because it has nothing to do with Tesla and it has nothing to do with this, but it is more generic and I like it a little bit more than mentioning something that I didn't really talk about at all in this video. And so in that way, it's kind of like if you went onto Taylor Swift's engagement post with Travis Kelce, right? Like if she did an engagement post about how they're going to get married and you said, hey, Taylor Swift, love your music. What are your thoughts about Trump? Just like, hey, Taylor Swift, I love that you got engaged. What are your thoughts about the Christian faith? That's what it feels like to me every single time somebody does this to me. But anyway, why I will not do tier list videos. If you haven't gotten this by now, this isn't a gameplay video. This is a rant video. This is me ranting about something. So you feel free to not look at your screen because there's nothing happening on your screen. As I've proven for this 5 minutes that I've been talking about nothing because I haven't even gotten to the topic. This is just going to be a rant video, so if you want to put this on in the background and just listen to me rant, that is what this is going to be. Because of this, I said that I was going to make a full video about it because people have asked me about this, and I don't think I've made an actual full video about why I don't want to do a tier list video anymore. So that's what this is. So watch this as this reloads. Oh no, see? Now for all those people that are like, well, you spent a lot of time away from the screen and that's why it had to reload. No, it doesn't. It doesn't reload. It only happens whenever I'm not talking about it and I'm trying to do it in a video that it always reloads itself and I have to wait for it. And that's why it's so fucking annoying. It doesn't happen all the time. It only happens in videos. I could literally be, for as long as I was in that YouTube tab, for as, and it didn't reload. It just reloads in videos and it's annoying. Anyway. Why I do not, here, you know what? I'm going to go back to YouTube. Let's go back to YouTube. Let's change tabs again. Because I forgot that I wanted to mention this. I used to be, I don't want to call myself, you know what? I'll call myself the tier list guy. I used to be the tier list guy. This is what made my channel popular. I deleted all my other tier lists from this, but so that you could have like the most updated version of this. And the most updated version of this was 7 months ago. That's the last time I cared about doing a tier list. There was a point when tier lists mattered. There was a point when they would add something to something. They would give something reincarnations, or I'm sorry, not reincarnations. They would give something talents. They would rework something. They would make something better. They would change things. And they haven't changed anything in what I would like to argue is 7 months. Because I have not cared to do a tier list video at all. And now with the addition of Pantheon, is it going to do it? No. See? It doesn't do it. Now that I'm paying attention, now that I'm putting attention on it, it's not going to reload. See? It doesn't do it. It doesn't do it all the time. Anyway, with the addition of Pantheon, it has made the idea of a tier list even more useless. The idea that all 5 of these get a 20% crit damage bonus, or a bonus in general, just any generic bonus. The idea that these have a generic bonus of anything. It could have been a 2% crit damage increase. It could have been a 1% damage increase. The fact that these units have an increase in anything of any amount, just because they are these units, make these the best units in the game. And that is their purpose. Their stated purpose for creating Pantheon as specifically event units is because the developers want these units to be the best. Now, when I stopped doing tier lists, it was the time when Corsair was an S++ unit, where people were running Corsair when it was a percentage damage unit, and it was so good that people were being forced to run Frost just to run the Ice Walk, just to get rid of Corsair bombs. Like, think about needing to do that. That's good for the meta, because what's not good for the meta is the current meta that exists. The current meta that exists is these are the strongest units. Genie is by far Genie, Twilight Ranger, and Bard are by far the strongest units in this game. Followed by Phoenix, followed by Treant, followed by Riding Hood. Probably in that order. Like if I had to actually make an order, that would be the order. Now, if your question is, what's stronger, Twilight Ranger or Genie? Twilight Ranger probably. But does it matter? What's stronger, Genie or Bard? Genie probably, and then Bard, and then probably Phoenix, and then probably Treant, and then probably Riding Hood. But it gets to a point where when you're dealing the amount of damage that these units are dealing, there's nothing you can do as a player. You either have the unit maxed out with with a Zeus, with a, you know, a level 100 Zeus, right? Because the reason why these are all so good is because of Zeus. It almost has nothing to do. It almost has nothing to do with the actual unit itself. If you had a Bard deck with a Zeus playing against a, you know, a Genie deck with a trainer or a captain, right? Or with a bestie or with a mermaid, right? Then your Bard Zeus deck is probably going to win because you have Zeus. Zeus is by far the best hero because of everything that it does. Especially now that the new Zeus ability is that if your unit doesn't upgrade, you also get another damage boost upon the insane damage that it deals, which just multiplies with phantoms. Like, it does so much damage to a phantom, and then you have all of your units dealing damage to a phantom, and then your Zeus gives your entire field attack speed, and then if you don't get the upgrade, you also get another damage boost on top of that, and that's why Zeus is so good. It's just everything immediately. Fortuna has to build up. Zeus gives you every ounce of its energy immediately. There is no buildup. And that's why Zeus is so good. But like the minuscule difference between a Twilight Ranger, a Genie, a Bard, a Phoenix, a, you know, like a Treant, a Riding Hood, the minuscule difference in between any of this, it almost doesn't even matter. It's kind of negligible. And when they introduce Frankie and Stein, I trust that they'll kick something out, presumably Riding Hood, because Riding Hood has been in this game forever. They'll probably kick Riding Hood out. That almost makes me feel like that's why there's like that little cycle symbol next to it. I've never had an answer for what that cycle symbol is, that like that arrow symbol. But there's a part of me that thinks that means that it's going to get kicked out next. Like, that's the symbol for, like, oh, when a new unit is introduced, this is getting kicked out. And Riding Hood, or they could have like multiple of the same faction, obviously, because there's six spots, but there's only 5 different kinds of units. It's Forest, Techno, Forest Magic, Light, Techno, Dark. That's 5, but there's 6 spots. So there's always going to be 2 of one faction. So you could argue that they should kick out Treant, because because it would change, you know, it would change it would be like 2 technos instead of 2 forests, but there's always going to be 2 of something, is my point. But I think that cycle symbol means that that might mean that they're going to cycle that out, because Frankenstein is a techno unit. But like, once that gets kicked out, then Frankenstein is just going to be the newest best unit because it has to be. In the same way that when Phoenix came out, it was the best unit, and now nobody gives 2 shits about Phoenix because Twilight Ranger's out, right? And Twilight Ranger is the best thing. And Genie is still somehow the best thing. And Bard is pretty good. And Treant is good if you have a Zeus deck, right? These are your top units in this game, and everything else is last. That's how it works. That's how this tier list works. If you wanted a tier list, that's how this tier list has worked for 7 months. And it's Pantheon units and then everything else. And before they were called Pantheon units, it's event units and everything else. Robots better. That's been, if I had to make a tier list, that's been the biggest change. Robot just like jumped, like skyrocketed through the roof. Like, I would say that Robot's an A+ card. Blade Dancer's still a really good card. Bruiser is a pretty good card. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Banshee's kind of okay. Like, the tier list hasn't changed. And the difference between a Banshee and a Bruiser and a Blade Dancer, like, you could talk about the differences, but like, it's more than just the unit. It's everything else. Like, are you running Banshee with a Zeus? Are you? Probably not, right? Are you running Blade Dancer with a Zeus? Probably not. Are you running Blade Dancer with a Fortuna? Probably not. And so, like, if somebody wanted to say, like, oh, Blade Dancer Zeus is really good, like, they could beat event units, like, sure, but you probably don't have a Zeus, right? And, like, so, like, what do you have? And so it becomes a more complicated question than just what's the best unit? What are the good units? Pantheon units are the best units. Invest into Pantheon units. Even though they might cycle out, they're still the best because of the 20% damage. Like, and everything else is next. Everything else is all of the Pantheon units are the same, and then everything else is also the same. Everything that's not a Pantheon unit is basically the same. Like, a Blade Dancer could beat a Bruiser could also beat a Blade Dancer. A Banshee could beat a Blade Dancer, and a Blade Dancer could also beat a Banshee. Like, it just depends on everything else that you have, or each person has. What's your crit? What's their crit? What are your equipment? What are their equipment? What are your support cards like? Are your support cards maxed out? Are their support cards maxed out? The amount of, like, why did my Blade Dancer die to their cultist? It's more than just you're both maxed out, right? You have a max cultist and they have a max Blade Dancer, right? It's more than just that. So even doing a tier list, it still wouldn't even be accurate to anything, because it would just be my opinion, and people have different opinions about everything. But for the most part, the reason why I don't care to do a tier list is because nothing has changed. Robot has been the biggest change, and the introduction to Pantheon has made a tier list useless. And that's pretty much it. There's not even an alternative way to kill people. There's people, I don't know if you've noticed, but people don't really run Toxic anymore because it doesn't exist. It kind of exists, but there's so much cleanse, and there's so many people running Mermaid and counter spells and, you know, like, just everything, that it doesn't really exist anymore. Necromancer does really terribly in Phantom mode, and that's why nobody uses it. They're gonna rework that as well at some point, but, like, that's why you don't really see Necromancer anymore either. It was an alternative win condition from just dealing damage, and they've made the game to where it's just deal damage. Phantom mode is just deal damage. Phantom mode, it doesn't promote you putting cards in your deck like a summoner and a shaman and a mime, you know? Like, you would rather just deal damage as quick as you can. In some decks that don't even need to run Night Statue, some people are just running Night Statue because it helps you deal damage faster. It's just, they've changed this game into just what is the best damage dealer. And that is the best card. And what is the best damage dealer? Event units. Because they're supposed to be. And because they're getting a 20% damage increase. And this hasn't changed for months. The last time that I did a tier list, when I said that Corsair was an S++ card, it's because it was an alternative win condition because of percentage damage. There was a Minotaur Meteor deck that was very good because it was percentage damage. And now neither of those decks exist because they want to control what is the best card, and what the best card is an event unit. And it's also a Pantheon unit because it gets an extra additional damage increase. Also, because those are the cards that have reincarnations immediately. The next patch they're giving Treant reincarnations. Twilight Ranger has reincarnation. Genie has reincarnation. Phoenix has reincarnation. Bard has reincarnation. All of these cards are the best because they have reincarnation talents. You could argue with me and say, well, what about Inquisitor? Inquisitor has 3 reincarnations too. How good is a reincarnation 3 Inquisitor? And the answer to that is who cares? The answer to that is who cares, because it doesn't matter, because a reincarnated Pantheon unit is better, and it will always be better. And even if a Phoenix, you know, that is a Pantheon unit currently with 3 reincarnations is not a Pantheon unit anymore, it will still be better than a reincarnation 3 Inquisitor. And that's the game. That's the whole game. I've just unlocked the secret for you. All of the Pantheon units, all of the event units, will still always be better than regular units because they're supposed to be. Now, we could come to a day where, like so far in the future, that a quote-unquote event unit like a Spirit Master that still doesn't have reincarnation talents, that a event unit that like Spirit Master is so far like gone that it's not good anymore, and it was quote-unquote an event unit or a Tesla. A Tesla has reincarnation talents and it's still not good. Like, we could come to a day where Phoenix as a reincarnation event unit isn't good, but by then they will have already have released like 8 other newer and gooder and bester units. The bestest goodest units. Because that's all they're doing. All they're doing is just releasing event units. That is their business model for this game. And it's really annoying because as much as everybody talks about the amount of what's called like mid-maxing that this is introducing into the game, upgrading like your throwing essence into this to upgrade this. What's it called? There's a name for it. Power creep. The amount of power creep that this is introducing into the game, power creep has been in the game since event units. Like, Treant is out. You need to get a Treant because it's the best card. Oh, now we're going to introduce Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix is so good. It's the best card. Oh, now we're going to introduce Twilight Ranger. Twilight Ranger is the best card. And now they're going to introduce Frankenstein. Oh, Frankenstein's in the game. Now it's the best card. Like, power creep has existed far beyond what people are trying to say is, oh, you're introducing power creep into the game. It's been in this game forever. Like, that is what this game is. It's just, but they're giving it to you as a quote-unquote feature. Like, oh, look at this cool new unit. Isn't it so cool? Isn't it so cool and amazing? And it's like a Pantheon unit, and it gets 20% bonus, and it has 3 reincarnations that you need to reincarnate. Isn't it so cool? And then people will ask me like, oh, what's the tier list? The tier list is that new card. That new card is the best card. That's how it's always worked. It just got so boring to make a tier list because nothing was changing. There was nothing in the game that was changed. Like I said, Robot is the biggest change. Robot is the biggest jump from what it was doing before as a toxic unit to like being an actual like really good damage dealing unit. But other than that, it's been what you think it is. The tier list is what you think it is. Whatever you think the tier list is, that's what it is. If you think Bruiser is better than Blade Dancer, okay. If you think Blade Dancer is better than Bruiser, okay. If you think Genie is better than Bard, okay. If you think Bard is better than Genie, sure. If you think Phoenix is better than Genie, sure. If you think Genie is better than Phoenix, okay. I could see it. Like, there's nothing for me to say about a tier list that you don't already know or should already know. And in all honesty, whenever I used to do tier lists, I was just going into worldwide replays and going into Legendary League. Here's your tier list. Twilight Ranger with the Zeus beats Genie with the Reincarnation 1. I mean, he also had 7,149 crit, was able to do 262 billion damage, and yet a level 100 Fortuna 5k 2,000 less crit Genie had the ability to do 322 billion damage. Do you want to like argue the difference between 262 billion and 323 billion? Like, I don't care. I just simply don't care. Here's like a robot deck beating a Twilight Ranger Zeus deck. I mean, like, the Zeus is a 33, so that's less. He has 5461 crit, so that's more than the 4203 crit. He does have a reincarnation 1 with a active, like, kobold, and the other person just has a 15. Like, he has a max gunslinger where the other person has like a 10 gunslinger. Like, those individual differences, like, you have to take those into account as well. This isn't just to say robot is better than Twilight Ranger. You have to look at it like there are factors. There are so many factors that doing a tier list is insane. Like, it's just, there are typical things that are very obviously good, like a reincarnation 2 Phoenix deck beating a reincarnation 1 Bard deck. Like, this minuscule difference between cards, I just don't care about anymore. There was a point where I thought that information was valuable, like, to know what to invest in, to know what you should get, but, like, it's all here and it's all obvious. Twilight Ranger is good. Guess what? Twilight Ranger's pretty good. Guess what? Genie is pretty good. I don't know if you needed me to tell you that. If that's what you're waiting for a tier list video. Are you waiting for me to say that Bruiser is better than Blade Dancer so that you can invest all of your money into a Bruiser and then get beat by a Genie, a Phoenix, a Twilight Ranger, a Treant, a Riding Hood, pretty soon a Frankenstein, right? Like, why would you invest in anything that's not an event unit? The answer is money, right? The answer is money and time, because a free-to-play unit is better. So what's the best free-to-play unit? They're all the same. There's not, I mean, Bruiser. Unless you get beat by Blade Dancer, sometimes. But you will always get beat by everything else and still be mad at the game. If that's the game that you want to play, like, what's the freest, best thing? You're still going to get beat, like, with 6 other things. You're still going to get beat by so many other people and still hate this game, if that's what you're trying to do. You have to invest in an event unit. But people that are free to play don't want to hear that. And they just want to know, how do I make my Demon Hunter better? How do I make Blade Dancer better? How do I make Bruiser better? How do I make this Banshee deck work? And the answer is, it doesn't matter. You'll beat people. You'll beat some amount of people. But that's kind of like saying, how do I make, how do I make my Engineer deck better? Like, think about somebody with an Engineer deck. How do I make my Engineer deck better so that I can beat Crystalmancer players? It's like, you are going to get beat by so many people. And so, like, as you climb up the ranks, as you get more things, you will get beat by less people. If you have a Genie deck, you're going to get beat by a Twilight Ranger person, or a Genie with a Zeus person, or a Bard with a Zeus person, right? And you'll still get beat by people, but you'll get beaten by less people. And that's the only difference between a tier list. There isn't a catch-all, like, what is the best card? I mean, I guess that's Twilight Ranger. I think Twilight Ranger and Genie are the best cards. But I trust that somebody's writing in the comments, like, Bard is better than Genie. And, okay, sure. Yeah, okay. You're right. Bard is better than Genie. And I trust that somebody right now is writing that Phoenix is better than Bard. Okay, you're right, too. You're also correct. Phoenix is better than Bard. And I trust somebody's writing in the comment right now, like, oh, Genie's better than Phoenix! You don't know what you're talking about! And it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Tier lists don't matter. They're all good. All the Pantheon units are good. To say that one is kind of better than another one doesn't account for anything. It doesn't account for the hero being used. It doesn't account for the crit difference. It doesn't account for the equipment. And there are so many factors. It doesn't account for playstyle. There are so many factors for why you might beat somebody and why somebody else with a quote unquote better unit might lose to you. And that's why gameplay doesn't really matter. People that do gameplay videos. Because you can change the narrative however you want to change the narrative. I don't know if you were here for when I was just posting straight gameplay videos for like a month or for like 2 weeks or something, but that's what I did. That's what I very specifically did. Because that's how it works. You can change the narrative to whatever you want to change the narrative to. Tesla beats Bruiser. Tesla is so much better than Bruiser. Tesla beats Demon Hunter. Tesla's the best unit. Everybody invest into Tesla. Phoenix is so good. It beats Tesla. Everybody invest into Phoenix. Cultist is so much better than Robot. Stop saving your Robot shards. Just put everything into Cultist. Like, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. If I could say anything, it's just invest into Pantheon event units. But I won't even say that all of the Pantheon event units are even that great. I have a Treant, and I don't think it's that great. I like it, but I don't think it's better than my level 14 Genie. I think Genie is way better. And like once I get to that 15 talent, like I'm just gonna be walking on sunshine. So it's not even like all of the Pantheon event units, but they are going to be better than a Bruiser and a Blade Dancer and a Demon Hunter and a Cultist. You're gonna beat everything else. But then when you go up against other people with Pantheon units, there is a hierarchy between Pantheon units. But like to get better Pantheon, like once you get even if you had a Twilight Ranger, you're still gonna get beat by a level 3 Reincarnation Twilight Ranger. And even when you get a level 3 Reincarnation Twilight Ranger, you're still going to get beat by people with a maxed out Reincarnation 3 on each talent Twilight Ranger. And even when you do that, you're still going to get beat out by people with a level 100 Zeus. Like, the mid-maxing in this game is insane. Like, trying to max... And then, once you get all of that, you're still going to get beat by Frankie and Stein, probably. Like, having a better card makes it so that you die to less things, theoretically. But you'll still die to things, and that's my point. My point is that a tier list doesn't matter. And as much as a tier list matters, it's get Pantheon units, don't get everything else. But I don't think you needed to watch this video to know that.